I'd like to start by apologizing to anyone who chose this pot pie video expecting to get high. It is a chicken pot pie, so you don't need to keep watching unless, of course, you want to see the most awesome, delicious, easy, healthy chicken pot pie, all from scratch, ready in an hour. The filling is rich and creamy, the crust is flaky, no butter, no cream, that's right. Oh, but it's going to taste like health food. Really? Shut up. Wait till you see it. It's fantastic. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees. We're going to start by making the sauce, okay? And the sauce is going to be 1 cup each of chicken stock and milk, unsalted chicken stock, whole milk. I usually use 1%. It's whole milk this time. So put those into a bowl. And then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of flour, okay? Now, we're going to whisk this together and we're going to set it aside. All right, that gets set aside. And now we're going to saute all the stuff that goes in the filling. Let me show you what's going to go in here. We have 2 boneless chicken breasts cut into about 1-inch pieces. We have 2 carrots sliced thin, 2 stalks of celery, 1 cup of onion, 1 cup of frozen peas that have been thawed. And I thawed those on like a paper towel to get rid of any extra moisture. So they've been thawing for actually about an hour. So now we're going to saute. I'm going to preheat the pan to like medium high. And as soon as it gets warm enough, we'll start cooking this up. Okay, I think that's preheated enough, been a couple of minutes. About 2 teaspoons of olive oil in the pan. And this goes really quickly, so you can see it's pretty hot. Now we're going to saute. The first 3 things are the carrots, celery, and onions. So let me just put them in one at a time. 1, and 2, and 3. Okay? And you're going to cook and stir this for about 2 minutes. In case you're wondering about this beautiful pan, I got it at Bed Bath & Beyond with the 20% coupon. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes, and now we're going to add the chicken. Just slide this over a little bit. And add the chicken. Here. And we're going to cook this for 2 more minutes. So you just kind of separate it the best you can. And of course, the biggest pan that you can use, the easier this is going to be. Well, that's been another 2 minutes now, and it's time to add the rest of the stuff, which is the peas. 1 cup of the green peas that were frozen and are thawed. Just stir the peas in. And now we're going to add that sauce that we made before. Normally this is made with butter and everything. No butter in here, as you can see. And we're going to add this sauce that I put together. Okay. And you'll see how quickly this comes together. And this takes maybe 2 to 3 minutes for it to become nice and thick, you'll see. And that's going to be it for the filling. Oh, and the salt and pepper. So it's 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt and some pepper to taste. Nothing like the smell of fresh pepper. I love it. Okay. Now I'm using unsalted stock. So if you're using a salted stock, you might want to do even less salt. But you'll have to figure it out once you make your own once or twice. So I've been cooking this for about 3 minutes, and take a look how thick this is. Look at this beautiful filling. Look. Oh my God, it smells so good. So that's it. That's it for the filling. Now we're going to put it into a pie pan. And I have a 9-inch pie pan here. It's a deep dish pan. And if you want to see if your pan is the right size, this holds 5 cups. You can like measure it with 5 cups of water. It's holds 5 cups. So now the filling goes in here. Oh my God, look at this. I'm telling you, this is so amazing. No butter anywhere, not in the crust, not in the filling. You just kind of spread this out. Let me get all of it. So I'm going to reset the table and show you how to make crust no butter. So this is the way I make all my pie crusts now. I never use butter. It's an oil crust. It takes 1 2/3 cups of all-purpose flour into a bowl, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Stir it up just a little bit. And now we're going to add 1/3 cup each of milk and oil. Now this is, I'm back to my 1% milk here, and this you can use either canola or extra light olive oil. And so we put them in all together like that. And we're going to stir this up, and the fork is the best way to stir it. And it kind of comes together fairly quickly, and it'll start to form like a ball. And as soon as it does that, we're going to shape it into like a disc and roll it up. So I think at this point we can put it on here and kind of make it into a disc. Now I normally do this on the kitchen counter, but since I'm facing the cameras there, so I'm going to do it on a board, but I just do this on my kitchen counter. All right, so now you just kind of squeeze it or whatever and make it into about a 5-inch disc or so. See? Now it's staying together really nicely. Yeah, that's good. Now we're going to roll it. Now you could just roll it like this, but I have a much easier way to do it. So I just lifted it up. Let me just clear off the board here a little bit. I roll it between wax paper. Really, really works well. So 2 sheets of wax paper, one on the top, one on the bottom. There's the bottom. There's the top. And then I flour the bottom one a little bit so it doesn't stick too much. I put my little disc on here, like that. And then, because I can't flour this and turn it upside down, I put a little flour on the top so it doesn't stick. Put the other wax paper on, and then you roll it. And you roll it as wide as the wax paper will allow you to roll. And this is much easier than, and see how the wax paper sticks? You just lift it and straighten it out again. I think that's about as wide as it can go. It's about a 12-inch circle. Now we're going to get ready to put it on the pie. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit so you can see everything. And I'll bring the pie here. Before you put it on, you're going to use an egg wash on the rim of the pie pan. So I have an egg yolk and a teaspoon of water in here. And this is my egg wash. You just stir it up a little bit. And then you just brush it on the rim. You don't have to be too careful. It will get a little messy. But this is the glue that's going to make sure that that crust holds on to the pie. So you just brush it on the rim like this. Go over a couple of times. And now we're going to put the top on. So you've got this wax paper going. And you peel off the top part. It comes right off. And the bottom one, I just kind of drape it. It's a very sturdy crust. So you just drape it over your hand like this. And just put it on top of the pie. Chicken pot pie. There it is. Now, that was pretty easy. So now, what we're going to do is, sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I will just take like a knife and just cut this off like that. Maybe just touch it with a fork or something. But in this case, I'm going to flute it a little bit, but I'm going to trim the crust first because to make it kind of even. So take a look. See how it's hanging over about this much? I'm going to kind of even it. There's always going to be a little bit left over. Now just kind of tuck it under like that. So you kind of, now of course this is one of those, the pie pans with the sort of fluted edge already, so it's always going to make it look nice. You just tuck it under. If you've ever made pie before, you've probably done this with apple pie or anything. So, all right. Now one last thing to do, and we're going to brush this with that same egg wash that I used on the rim. So we're going to brush the whole thing. And sometimes you can't, some people like an egg wash using a whole egg with about a tablespoon of water. I just like the yolk. It's nice and gives it a nice kind of a rich color. And so we're going to cover the whole thing with this, the rest of this wash, including the edges. Okay, that's all done with the egg wash. Now one last quick thing to do is you just poke a few holes to let some of the steam escape. I rather use a sharp knife than a fork, so I just do it with a knife. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like about a dozen, like that. Now it's going to go in the oven, but it's better to put it onto a baking sheet lined with foil, which I did here, because sometimes the filling can kind of seep out no matter what you do. So put it on a foil-lined baking sheet like this, into your preheated 400-degree oven for 25 minutes. And I'll set my timer for 25. And when the cow moves, the pot pie is done. Well, I guess I need to move the pie out of the oven. Here it comes. Okay. Here she is. Look at this. Yikes. Okay, now, the good news is the pie is done. The bad news is you got to let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes before you can eat it. God, I hate that wait. Okay, the pie is finally ready to serve. What I usually do is I take a knife and just kind of lift the crust up a little bit, and you can see, look how flaky it is. Look, look. Look at that. God, look at this. Look. Oh my God, how awesome. Let me get some more of this great filling. Look. More chicken. Okay. There. Now, God, if you could smell. Oh, it smells awesome. I could eat this whole pie right now. This pie is supposed to serve 4. I don't see that happening.